led by Walker's 33.
All right, certainly an emotional return for Tony Parker. Nice embrace there with Pop. And a win against the San Antonio Spurs. Tony Parker 4-12 on the field, 8 points, 4 assists, and 3 boards, and one very big win on the road. As speaking of big wins, yesterday the Saints got a big win. Not because of Hall of Famer Drew Brees, no. Not because of that Michael Thomas guy, the Isaiah Thomas guy. Gave the speech, got the game ball. Dude, I told you this, and you know this is not for like lip service for camera. That is, I mean, come on, man. That's cool.
No, that was nice. Not only was it nice, but the way the guys like just made you feel, embraced you, brought me in, and I just feel like, you know, they've made me a part of their family. So, you know, to the Saints and, you know, Coach Payton and, you know, everybody, Mike Ornstein, I mean, the whole crew it's been a good ride for me this year.
Yeah, right now Jet fans are tweeting in, can you come visit our team? We've got a lot to talk about here throughout the course of Game Time presented by Kia. We'll get into not only highlights, the Kyrie situation with the Celtics, for Tony Parker as somebody who played for such a long time yourself in a city and built that relationship that's different. I think of Tony Gwynn and Cal Ripken, and it's just that different thing. I mean, Tony Parker's got that kind of thing. What kind of emotions do you think he was experiencing throughout the course of this game tonight?
It had to be extremely difficult for him, and I was watching him throughout the course of this game because I couldn't even imagine how I would have felt going back to Detroit with another uniform on, playing for another team in the city that I loved, that I won championships with, and that's what he had to do tonight. And I thought he handled it beautifully. I thought Pop handled it well. I thought the San Antonio Spurs fans were very gracious to him. And, you know, he'll always be a part of that fabric of the Spurs, of the community. And when you talk about point guard play for the San Antonio Spurs, they will always be compared to Tony Parker.
We've seen greatness in the romanticism of the NBA this year, right? D. Wade, all the jerseys back and forth. D. Rose, when he went back to his hometown. Ashley Shamati talks with Tony Parker after getting a win against San Antonio.
Thank you so much.
Well, might want to pretend that Tony played for every team that you play against the rest of the way, because clearly there is a little bit of an extra thing there. As far as the Spurs are concerned, this is still not a good loss for them at home, and a team that has shown us the highest of the highs this season, even with all their injuries and questions, different, almost like machinations of teams that Pop has had to put out there to work with this group. So how good are they? I mean, they're a tough team to figure out. We know how great the coaching is and the culture, but how good is San Antonio really right now?
I think they're good when they can play their game in their style. And they're playing a different style than the rest of the NBA is playing right now. They got a little mixture of old school, new school. A lot of their sets are still kind of old school sets. And I thought tonight when they brought Gasol in, I thought he and Aldridge together, they still got to figure out now how to play. I guess Gasol's got to figure out how to play with the rhythm that the other guys were playing with, because they had a good rhythm going and they were playing really well with that version of kind of small ball. But having Gasol and Aldridge in there together, they got to figure that out, and I'm sure they will.
All right, now, did you say rhythm? Is it going from like rhythm to like careless whisper wham sort of rhythm right now?
Like that.
I mean, come on now.
Time could never match.
Luckily, we have some video, because just like Guilty Feet, no rhythm. That's a lot of 80s for some of you youngins. James Harden, the streak.
Oh, he had
30
rhythm.
plus, 30 plus, 30 plus. 57. And clearly, which we'll get to in a minute, not having Clint Capella puts even more pressure on him, and I want to talk to you about that. What impresses you among the many things most during this run here, Zeke?
I've said this before, the stamina that he has every single night, because he's really carrying the load offensively. And every team that's coming in is geared up to stop him, and the whole defense is designed to stop Harden. And he finds a way every single night not only to get shots, but to make shots and to have this type of point productivity. Over the long run, you don't know if this is going to hurt him when you get to May and June, because right now he's carrying so much and it's a really heavy burden. every single night. You just hope that he can hold up.
You know, I think there's so many different things, but you look at the one-on-one ability, and you think about the shot against Golden State. When you're feeling that pressure as a player, when you have injuries on your team, and you know, as you were, you're the star that, look, there are certainly, you're not alone, but which we'll get to Capella in a second. But as injuries and guys drop like CP3 and Capella, they're more on you. How do you kind of play between, I know I need to do more, but I can't alienate all these guys, because even if it's 3 or 4 big times in a fourth quarter, I might need them.
Yeah, how
tough is that?
It's a very difficult, position to be in, because at any point in time in the game, while you're going and while you're rolling, remember that coach on the other side, he can say, okay, I'm going to shut the water off and make somebody else beat us. So once they start double teaming Harden, and he's got to get the ball up, those other guys, they got to make shots, and they got to be ready to make shots. And it's very difficult for them to be in that position. We talked to P.J. Tucker a couple of weeks ago, and the thing that you admire about those guys is they will let Harden take 35, 38 shots, and they never know when their shots are coming. But they continue to practice, they continue to have faith, so when those shots do come, right now they've been knocking them down. But as we've seen in playoff situations, when those shots come so sporadically and you're not feeling and touching the ball and you're not involved in the offense, and we talked about rhythm, if you don't have your rhythm going in the playoffs and you miss 2 or 3 shots in a row, that can be the end of the game for you. So during the course of the regular season right now, it's good. But once the playoffs start, you definitely can't play this way.
Brad, PJ told you and I in Game Time, easier to live up to his dress code, Harden's, than to try and find a way to live up to the game. But without Clint Capella, obviously a whole different game for the Rockets. Here's James Harden on that after the win.
Curry went off for 48 and matched his season-high 11 three-pointers in a win over the Dallas Mavericks. Those 11, by the way, the most threes ever knocked down by a Mavericks opponent. So here's the scenario. Game on the line, you need a 3 to win. Who takes the shot? Our open court talent discuss.
Kenny Smith throws it across. Miller for 3. Oh, he backed it in! He backed it in!
Hey everybody, Matt here with 3 of the most accomplished shooters in NBA history. 3D, Dennis Scott, Kenny Smith, the Hall of Famer Reggie Miller, and so of course...
This is a shooting show.
No, of course.
I was trying to figure out...
I want to talk about shooting. One active player to take a game-winning shot, if you could choose, who is that guy?
Steph Curry. Or Kevin Durant, or LeBron James.
Curry saves it 3. Steph Curry goes to the corner to shoot a 3 and hits to tie it up. Shot clock is off. James pull up for a 3. Rainbow!
Any more?
To take a 3 to win a game.
I take all 3 of those. Even LeBron James, in terms of his ability to get it off, he'll get it off comfortably because of his size, strength, and ball handling ability. So he would get it off comfortably. He doesn't shoot with the same accuracy as those other 2 guys, but he gets a better comfort level at times than those 2 guys.
For me, active, if we're just trying to get a shot clock's going down, it's Kyrie Irving. His ball handling ability to be able to get to any spot on the floor and get his shot off, to your point, he's going to get his shot off. And he's one of the few point guards, well, there's a lot of point guards in the league, and can shoot the 3.
Definitely guys that I probably would have picked, but if I'm going with someone with ice water in their veins, need a shot, I'm going with Dame Lillard. A guy that can create his own shot, or you can put him in a high pick and roll, shoots with depth, can shoot deep, and if you foul him, he's going to make foul shots.
Does the answer change for any of you if I say it's a catch and shoot 3 to win a game?
Klay Thompson.
Yeah. Catch and shoot, I would add Klay to the catch and shoot. Like, it swung back out to him. I would add Klay to that for sure.
You know, it's funny, we were talking, James Harden.
Ooh, yes, to get a bucket, yes.
He could do.
Oh, my goodness, yeah, to get a bucket, yeah.
I mean, we're
Right,
not
catch the dribble, off the dribble.
Off the dribble, he's
Off the
great,
dribble,
but
no question about it.
He gets to walk and shoot it.
Yeah.
So he gets it. He gets to do the running man.
Right. I'll make it harder. Let's go back in history. Any player who's ever played to win a game with a 3.
Oh, we're sitting right here.
Oh,
Who are you picking?
No, there's a
He's sitting
lot
right
of
here.
guys.
No, I'm not. You could go last if you're not going to talk about yourself.
I'm gonna go with Larry Legend.
No.
To make a
three.
He said to make a 3, right?
To make a 3.
To make a 3 at the end of the game.
Celtics have got 3 seconds. 2. Bird, a runner. It's good.
I'm going with Larry Legend.
I'm going with the guy sitting here only because the moment for Larry is always the moment. For Reggie, he creates more moments, meaning he's looking for an opportunity. I think at times you hope we get down 3. So there's a difference. But Larry's like, no, I'm not even going to let you get up. I'm going to beat you. He's waiting for that moment. And so for me, watching Reggie over the years, I would have to say Reggie would be the guy I would be. Like,
Good looking, Kenny.
No,
Yeah.
but and taking it a step further, with Larry, as much as we, love his shooting, he's not going to get open in that situation. Where you, and I'm going to throw Ray Allen into the mix,
yeah.
both of you guys are going to get open because you're probably the best running without the basketball, running off screens and getting open.
I'm
Now,
going to put Larry second, though. I wasn't like,
Kenny, Larry's third. Ray Allen's above him. Well, come on now. Those
But
Ray
you know
Allen
what?
and Reggie Miller, we need a 3. Larry's not getting open. Him and Ray are getting open to get that 3 off.
Rebound, Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
There's a guy that I would want to be in this mix because he's the leading three-point shooter in the history of playoffs over certain attempts. You know who that guy is, right?
Kenny the Jets man.
You know.
I was waiting for that. That leads to my next question. You may have already answered it, but if in a theoretical world where I could play and I had to choose one of the 3 of you to win a game with a 3, where am I going?
We're all going to pick ourselves. That's how confident we. I mean, in all of our careers that we've all hit game winners, we've all hit buzzer beaters, so we know we can do it. So if you're asking openly, I want to. As much as I love both these guys, I want to take that shot first.
I would honestly say that these guys were better three-point shooters in this regard. That was such a big part of their diet. And for me, it became a part of my diet later on. But I had to learn to be that. It is, like Reggie Miller, we played at UCLA in Pauley Pavilion and in North Carolina. We were like, guard him from here.
Right.
That didn't come into my life until about my 4th year in the NBA. It was always part of Dennis Scott's repertoire, a steady part of that diet, the long ball shot. I was catching up with you all the time.
Right.
Now, I just still think I can shoot the ball. But I just know that you guys it was a better diet.
We all have different strengths at different times. Sure. But at the end of a game, to a man, we're all going to say, put the ball in our hands.
Yeah.
Kenny wants those shots.
Yeah, one of the
Kenny
biggest
wants those shots.
one of the
I always
biggest
wanted those
moments.
shots.
Yeah.
We were actually in the biggest moments in Rocket and Orlando basketball history. Hit a three-pointer to tie the game to send it to overtime in the NBA Finals.
He's been on fire and hits. He's tied the game.
But before that, this dude,
In the regulation,
he comes
right.
back and hits another one.
Back to Scott for 3, and he's tied
Back to back.
Yep.
It was him and I.
You haven't made my job any easier.
Well, hey, how about this? Who are you going to pick? If your life depended on it and your family's life depended on it, and they needed a 3 to get them out. Come on, man.
I will answer the question. I've got bad news for you and my family.
What?
I turned it over before I ever got to give you it.
I will tell you this. If you,
I'm sitting here and not there.
if you gave it to any of us, your family lives.
That's a tough question. One shot, game's on the line. We won't go life is on the line like they did, but who are you? Who are you picking to knock down the 3?
Oh, they talked about him. Taking Larry. Larry Bird. I've seen it happen too many times to think it's coincidence.
Yeah.
And, Dennis was talking about Larry not getting open. That could not be farther from what would happen. Larry had an unbelievable ability to make big shots, first of all. He's 6'9" and unbelievably strong, so he could shoot that ball turning any sideways. It was a flick of the wrist for him. Plus, he had an unbelievable basketball IQ. The harder you chased him, the more he used that to his advantage. He'd stop and go, give you a little shove. He got open as well as anybody could get open. Now, he didn't get open in today's way of just sprinting around. He got open with stop and start and stop and start. So, believe me, he would have got the ball. I've seen him make a ton of shots, and I tell you, I've often said this. Had Larry actually started taking 200 threes a day in practice like they do now, I have no idea what he would shoot. Larry shot 5, 10, 15 threes at the end of practice. It's all anybody shot back then. Because, you know, Mike, the three wasn't a big part of it. These guys today shoot 200, 250, 300 threes after practice just working on that shot.
Yeah, like, imagine if he had been doing that all of that time.
Yes.
Right. Goodness.
You know, having coached 3 different organizations, my best three-point shooters going back, Mark Price, Mike Miller, Wesley Person, that played for me. When you look at the top ones, Larry was definitely in there, along with Reggie Miller, along with Ray Allen, and you have to put Steph Curry in there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those are, to me, your top ones.
All right. Well, after the break, Game Time is going to continue with a look ahead to Tuesday night and players only, baby. Since we just showed you Dennis Scott, we've got to pay tribute. Jimmy Butler and the Sixers are hosting his former Timberwolves team, and we're going to be right back.